Oh, it's the Cundy and Nathan Show.
Hello and welcome to the Cundy and Nathan Show, episode 5. My name's Nathan.
My name's Cundy.
And we are here and back again. Is this the first time we've done 2 weeks consecutively with the podcast?
I think, yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it? Because we've been pretty intermittent.
Yeah, slack might be the best word for it.
Yeah, busy, you know.
I don't know if that's true. Don't know if that's necessarily true, but here we are anyway with another podcast, which seems to be going down quite well with the listeners. We are currently on the new and noteworthy. I know I said this last time, but we're still on it. New and noteworthy on iTunes. We're also in position 80 out of 200 podcasts. The last episode, no, not even the episodes. It's the podcast. Is number 80 in games and hobbies at the moment.
18 or 80?
80.
So we're climbing out of how many?
Well, there's hundreds and hundreds on there, but the chart only goes up to 200. So, I mean, for the fact that there's two of us doing it with minimal promotion, we don't have a huge, we haven't got a website to sort of bounce it off or anything. It's pretty good.
A couple of idiots.
A couple of right idiots doing a podcast, barely, communicable on here. But it's not even a word, that. Just made it up. Just to show how bad we are at doing podcasts. But no, seriously, it's really good that we've actually made it onto the charts.
I feel like I should be in a boy band.
Yeah?
Yeah. I got the hat.
You have got the hat. There's not much call for 60-year-olds in boy bands anymore, though. Sorry.
Well, Tom Jones still does all right.
Oh, the green grass of Hoama.
Another contemporary reference for you there, everyone. Tom Jones never in a boy band, though, mate.
He's in The Voice, though, isn't he? He's one of the judges, so all the kids know because they like all that.
But that's not a boy band, is it? Come on.
Mate, your camera is... Seriously, your camera...
Oh, is it freaking you out?
I just keep zooming in, and every time you move, it refocuses on your face.
I like it because I like to sort of unsettle you a little bit. I usually do that with just basic questions, but I've got an additional thing to make you a bit furious now.
Yeah, I'm on edge. It's making me anxious.
Do you want me to try and fix it? Do you want to just fill in while I try to fix this? Just play some sort of elevator music.
Garth from Wayne's World moment.
Another, again, that film's probably about 20 years old now as well.
The kids, they're all into it. They're all into the past.
Are they?
It's like the grooviest history lesson.
Right. I'm not sure it is, mate. I'm really
so, it's
sure.
the Queen's 90th birthday today. That's what I can talk about.
Who gives a shit? Seriously.
Come on, mate.
Who gives a shit? They don't do anything.
She's incredible. All those free private jets she gets.
Yeah, I know that mega carbon footprint that they all put in.
All that baby's blood she drinks to stay young.
Oh.
You can't.
Not that. Ooh.
Reptilian lizards do live a bit longer than humans.
They'll have you in the tower, mate. They'll have you in the tower.
I'm with Ike on this one. Another reference to the kids there. Everyone knows David Icke, doesn't he?
Goalkeeper for Coventry City, weren't he?
He was.
Yeah, he actually was.
He was, yeah.
Honestly, these references, they're desperate. I wonder what our sort of age range is of podcast listeners. There must be some that tune into this and constantly got Google open going, David Icke, who's Blockbusters.
I think you underestimate people, mate. I think people know these people.
Yeah.
People know people. That's some deep shit there.
How would you describe David Icke if someone was listening and had no idea who David Icke was, apart from a former goalkeeper for Coventry City?
Madman, conspiracy theorist, entertainer. I think someone went to watch him. Wasn't it old Tim Weaver, who we used to work with at Future? I'm sure he went to watch. Apologies if it's not. Someone we know went to watch because he does big talks and that. It's not like a TED talk. It's more like I'm mad and these are all my theories. But who's to say they might not be mad? Maybe they're not as far fetched as as we think. Maybe
I mean,
a reptile.
Yeah, I mean, that was his biggest claim, wasn't it? That she's a reptile. That the royal family are all reptiles.
Reptilians are among us, mate.
I don't know if it was Tim Weaver. Tim Weaver, now famous crime writer.
Yeah. I often stop at the book stand in my local Sainsbury's
and just throw them in the bin.
Bend all the pages and that. Oh, kid, get in behind Dan Brown. Hiding them all.
Just get them in there. Honestly, someone going to a David Icke sort of convention sounds along the lines of Hoots, David Horton of Games Radar. He's the sort of person that he'd go there for a laugh.
I don't know. Because he wasn't mad, and then he just came out. It was like when he came out, and then everyone just distanced themselves, like when Glenn Hoddle had a go at disabled people, when everyone just went, "Oh, hang on a minute,
no thanks, mate."
See you, Glenn. Cheers,
it's like nice. when you're down the pub with someone, and they come out with something, that's not entirely PC, and you're like, should we move on to the next pub when he goes to the bar? Should we just... Because we've done that to you many a time, haven't we? Just left him...
Basic, mate. That's my problem.
Left you with your racist, homophobic remarks.
Get down the National Front pub.
Oh, good times. Good times.
These are the good times. Do.
So we are actually recording a podcast. It is still about video games. One thing I wanted to highlight off the bat is that we now have on the Podbean area, podbean.com, where the podcast is hosted, we've opened up the kickstarting crowdfunding thing.
Become a patron option.
Become a patron. Now, there's no obligation to do it. If you don't do it, we're still going to carry on doing the podcast.
Do it,
but do it, because Cundy hasn't bought a pasty in months, and it's all because he hasn't got any money. And I think,
I need to buy some more Mamba, mate.
Oh man, I can't get onto that now because otherwise we'll just be distracted.
We need to stick on this patron business.
I did watch that program, and it was the Mamba program. If you get a chance to watch it, it's on YouTube, about people addicted to Mamba in Wolverhampton. It's not pleasant.
Come on and do the Mamba.
I saw you made a little appearance on there though, mate. Like dealing it out and
working in the head shop. Hey, come in, lots of very good merchandise.
But
all good for your brain.
as you want to get out of selling Mamba for pennies now, we've opened up this crowdfunding thing and becoming a patron on Podbean, just to see how that goes. We sort of really like doing the podcast. Well, we do love doing the podcast. We do it for free, so it's it's by the by really. But we just thought, people are being paid for the content that they create at the moment, and we thought we'd give it a go as well. We haven't go on. Go.
I was going to say, well, yeah, if you think the podcast is worth some pennies,
exactly,
stick some pennies in the pot, and it'll be much appreciated. But yeah, like Nave said, it's not like a do it or we're going to stop doing the podcast. Purely optional.
It is
purely optional, but do it.
Do please.
So how can people find out where to give us money? Because I'm sure people will be rushing to do that immediately.
So when you go to podbean.com, is that the actual URL? I should check that first. I think it is podbean.com. It is. And then you look for the Cundy and Nathan show. Once you click on our little podcast profile, there's a thing in the top right-hand corner, green button that says become a patron. And there you can, I think the minimum that you can put in is $1. So what's that like in UK?
That's nothing.
That's
like air.
70p? 60p?
Less than that. 10p, if that.
60p. But, 5p. But it all adds up, doesn't it? It all adds up. But we've had
quid in the pot. Do it.
But we've had ideas. We've had ideas, haven't we? For we was going to put in stretch goals and things like that, but not going to rush ahead of ourselves just yet.
I stretch for no man. I've seen a woman giving birth. I'm stretching.
I've seen those pictures of you, mate. I know that you're into goatsy.
I've seen two children being born not simultaneously from the same
side by side.
Yeah, barrel.
Oh God!
Double-barreled. Imagine that.
My word, that's disgusting.
That would smart, wouldn't it?
It would smart. But anyway, if you do want to, if you do want to contribute, then please do. Also, want to give a nice little shout out to
select.
Ball Rewind. Just want to give a little shout out to SPCarl91 on Twitter, who has also set up. He did the Talk Radar quotes. Do you remember the Talk Radar UK quotes?
Oh yeah,
Twitter account.
Was it?
Yes. He's also set up the Cundy and Nathan show quotes, and he's already going. So do follow him do follow that account at Cundy Nath Q, and you can follow Carl at SPCarl91 as well. So thanks for setting that up. And
next time I'm on Twitter, mate. Next time I'm doing one of my big Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Sessions.
Oh, he loves Twitter.
Never
this
off
lad.
it.
He loves it. He loves it. I'm surprised I can pull you away from it just to get this podcast done. To be honest,
it now.
Are you on it? What are you doing?
Social media as we speak.
What are you doing? Saying some stuff.
Just like just posting up some stuff and that. Doing some hashtags.
Oh, nice one. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, just going back to the patronage. If we do start to get some sort of like regular income in, then I think one of the first things that we're going to try to do is get some better recording equipment. Or maybe just like some soundproofing for this room, because it's a bit echoey. I understand that. I know there's a few people that have mentioned that as well, but it just can't be helped, unfortunately.
I expect with the money we'll get, we'll be able to afford one egg box. So
one egg box. Well, I mean,
it's baby steps.
If you open the egg box and then put a microphone in it, I can just talk into the egg.
That's good.
Easy.
So that's that.
Anyway.
Go and flick the pod bean.
Come on, mate.
What?
Not like this. It's too early in the morning for this.
Flicking the bean.
It's way too early for this.
Waving to the man in a boat.
Games then. Please talk about games. Take us away from this dirty area.
What have we been playing? Do you want to start? What have you been playing?
I will start, actually. Do you know what? I've been playing MGS5, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, because I really did want to play something new so that I'd have something different to talk about on this week's podcast. But fired up the Vita last night.
Oh, yeah, the lovely Vita.
Man, like, the updates that it needed for that, it just took too long. It was like, you need this update, you need that update. Right, that's updated now, but now you need to update the PlayStation Store. Went online to look at some games, see what was on the PlayStation Plus. There was a couple of games on there, and for some reason it wouldn't let me download them because it needed some form of update. And that got put back in the drawer. Spent ages like just faffing around with it, and now I left it covered in dust, and now it's back in the drawer.
Just turn it on every couple of months to update it.
Exactly. So I thought, do you know what? I got to play something else apart from MGS5, because I've spoke about that last week. Not sure what else I can actually say about it, but let's have a look through the old case of games. Thought Drive Club. It's had quite a bit of attention recently because of Evolution Studios were sort of canned by Sony. They've now landed at Codemasters. Did you know that?
No.
Evolution Studios, who made MotorStorm and Drive Club.
Codemasters got them, have they?
Yeah, so Sony just sort of said, look, we're closing you down. They all wanted to stay together as a studio. So Codemasters, because they've got a rich heritage of great racing games, said, come on in here. Come and live in our dungeon.
That's a lovely union. I wonder if there was like Grey and Jill and St. Joseph's at first, like standing off each other. Again, another contemporary reference for the kids there.
Yeah.
But because they were like rival making games in the same field.
Yeah.
So they would have been highly critical of each other's games, or appreciative, or
I think having all of that talent in one sort of publishing house is amazing. Like, because then that developer will then make the best games. It's just that, like, I really wanted to play Drive Club. Again, this is my point. Really wanted to play Drive Club. Fired it up. Right, okay. Gonna need an update of 8 gigs worth of updates. But, I mean...
Welcome to the future, mate.
Exactly. Oh, that's weird. That's weird, because the next game that I tried to play after that actually starts with that line, welcome to the future, which is Trials Fusion. Thought I'd go back to that and have another go on that. That needed an update as well.
Is Trials Fusion the more one that's a bit more out in like
well, it's futuristic, but it's still the motocross
I quite enjoyed
and
that.
quad bikes. Yeah, it's great, but it needed an update. So Drive Club, back out of the machine, back in the drawer. Trials Fusion, couldn't be bothered to wait an hour for the download on that for the network thing, so that got turned off. I thought, what else can I play? I thought the trusty old PC. I'll fire it up. I'll see what it's got. And I remembered that I'd got Chaos Reborn. You know, the Julian Galop game.
Oh,
do you remember
Galapagos?
Do you remember Galapagos?
No.
Do you not remember him? Julian Galop. Do you remember Chaos?
Chaos, no.
Turn-based game with wizards and spells like disbelieve, and you
wizards.
could.
I don't know it.
No, it was on the Spectrum.
I don't know it.
Again,
we're going way back.
Yeah, we're going way back.
Way back. Right.
Yeah.
No, still don't know it though.
but anyway, he helped. I think did he help create or he did create XCOM? It's one or the other.
Oh right, okay. Old Galop did.
But anyway, I'd remembered that I kickstarted his Chaos Reborn, so they was bringing the old Spectrum game back with new graphics and everything, and remembered that I kickstarted it $20 in 2014. Hadn't even downloaded the game, so I thought I'm gonna download it now. So I downloaded it, started playing it, and it was just I don't know. I'm sure it's got its fan base, and I'm sure if I put time into it, I'd probably appreciate it again. But for me, it just felt like it was trying too hard. It's got like a really sort of dramatic intro to it, like a sort of Lord of the Rings style Gandalf voice over the top of it, like making it sound a lot more exciting and important than it actually is. And I don't know. I started playing it. And I was like, it's a bit much. It's trying too hard. So I just turned it off.
That was it. How long did you stick with that for?
But I think I had one game on it. So
don't say you never give it a go, mate. You know,
6-7 minutes. I mean, I paid for it. So what? You know, paid for all of these games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel a bit disappointed with myself that I haven't brought anything new to the table. Any more than just complaining about how games need constant updates these days, and when they do update, they're shit.
That is the way of things, isn't it?
It is the way of things. But I can talk about MGS5 again in a minute. But I'll let you spin off with something positive, hopefully.
Well, I did play something new,
Oh.
and I had a little bang on the old Doom beta.
Oh yes,
over the weekend, and they extended it into Monday as well, actually. So I thought I'd have a go on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say I went into it being like a massive Doom player from the old days.
Yeah.
If anything, I used to play more Quake, like in the office, like where I used to work. Used to have like a lot of, like local, like the old LAN set up in the office.
Yeah.
Used to play a lot of Quake, but Doom, I played it, instantly feels really like a really, really old school game. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's very difficult to see what exactly they're bringing that's new, because you have to bring something new, I would think. I mean, it's like one map. One map. There were two different game modes, like Team Deathmatch and some other one called something like Capture the Colour bit on the map, but something a bit snappier than that. Follow the colours or something. I don't know. There's I didn't really get to grips with that mode, but I played one map, Team Deathmatch. I just ran around with the rocket launcher the whole time, which is pretty cool. I was all right at it, actually. I was quite surprised, because normally I'm utter shit at games like that. But I was okay, and it was all right. But it was just felt very uninspiring and unambitious, and there's, it's not really doing anything that, I don't know. That maybe that's the point of it. Maybe it is. I'm not that familiar with what playing multiplayer Doom was like back in the day, but.
See, I'm from the same sort of side of the fence as you. Like, I've rarely played Doom, but I've seen like the reviews for not the reviews, but the opinion pieces for the beta have been largely positive, sort of saying it. It's a return to the good stuff. But then I'm like, well, what is the good stuff? Is it because it's feeding your need for nostalgia, like these people that are playing it? Is it because it's like, an old game that you used to love isn't shit, that's what's making you feel like it's brilliant? Or is there something genuine that is like going to bring in a new audience, that's going to bring in like someone like me that's like, it likes shooters, but what's its USP, mate?
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to see. it's hard to see how it's going to take any players away from, I don't know, like Call of Duty or Halo. I don't really know. I couldn't see. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like I say, I enjoyed it, but running around. But for me, that's it. The beta was fine. A couple of days knobbing about on the beta. I mean, there was more to it. There were like hack modules that you could do that were kind of, so each time you started a match, you would get to, I don't know, various different augments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you'd have armor from respawning, or you'd be able to see on the map the person that killed you last, that sort of stuff. But and there was like a rune thing as well that once powered up, you turn into a demon and you run around and you're super powerful, and which was all right again. But it's kind of stuff that seems very. I know, like deathmatch was like the thing that Doom did.
Yeah.
But it's hard to see really anything that it's doing that's new. It's not tried to. Maybe
do you
it
think
didn't want to try and reinvent anything, but.
Do you think it's because it's like, I mean, there's so many games out there now doing deathmatch and like shooty guns. Like it's just, some game is going to have to, if they're going to try and break back into that market, or they're going to come into that market, they have to do something new.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
It's a full price thing. It's not like it is. I know it's only like they're playing a map. There might be more to it. You might see, but I imagine what I was experiencing in the beta is going to be fairly close to what you're going to experience in the final version.
Yeah. Do you not think this is the inherently bad thing about like the promotion of betas though these days? Because that's your one shot, and if you promote it like super hard, like who is it that's doing it? Is it Activision?
Is it Bethesda?
Bethesda.
Yeah.
Sorry, like regardless of who the publisher is, but like if you're promoting it hard, which seems to happen with betas these days, like, oh, get the beta, download this, exclusive view of this and that and the other, like you're giving that as much promotion as you would do the retail copy and the review style of it. And if you're playing that as a layman these days, and you go, oh, that bit's broken, or a bit of code isn't in there right, or something doesn't work, surely then you've lost that customer. Because you built it up so much, like, oh, get hold of this first play of this game and that game, and the beta's going to offer this and that, and then if you play it and it's a little bit broken, I mean, it's the whole point of the beta, do you know what I mean? Like to stress test things. But a lot of people these days must be like, they play the beta and they go, nah, not for me, I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
Like, because it's broke, or it's not enough of the beta. It stops too soon.
Yeah, I got that with this. It felt like some people were basing the entire game and forgetting that there's going to be more on offer with the final one than what the two maps, two modes, one map, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I say, I wasn't really particularly interested ever in it anyway. So, but having a go on it, I enjoyed it. But the beta is plenty for me. I had fun while it lasted.
Good.
Fun while it lasted.
Get
that on the box.
That's fine. Put it on the box.
But yeah, I mean, deathmatch is, it's a shame because deathmatch is something that Doom, they kind of, I think that they were the first game to coin the phrase deathmatch and to have deathmatch in a game.
Oh, that's a big claim. That's a big claim. That. Oh, he's gone out. He's gone out on it.
Wiki fact check. But yeah, it's a shame it doesn't feel a bit more progressive.
Right.
It feels so, just unchanged.
Does it play well? That's another big thing as well, because there's like new shooters that come onto the market, or new games that come onto the market, and they don't play particularly well for what they're supposed to do. For example, like Just Cause is a decent open world shooter, but it's never on that same level as like a GTA. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's but does it play well? Does Doom play well? Could you argue about any facets of it, or does it just play like a solid game?
That's the thing. It's just like an average game. That's the thing. But because there's the name of Doom attached to it,
Yeah.
you kind of want more. There's nothing inherently wrong with it at all. Certainly, I didn't encounter anything that was broken.
Yeah.
But it's just fairly like I've kind of done all this several times before.
That's it then.
But in games that have done it better.
Done.
So
Done
what's
then.
the point if it doesn't do anything better than what's already out there?
Fair enough. Fair enough, mate.
What's the point?
I was gonna talk about MGS5 again, but there's probably no point. I'm still like just sticking on the side missions at the moment. I barely touched the main mission modes, just because I've been enjoying the infiltration parts of like rescuing prisoners and extracting like mad former teammates, which is quite an interesting angle. Right. There's like people that are just sort of wandering the land that have gone like crazy. You imagine like a zombie running in 28 Days Later.
Yes.
Or was it 28 Days Later?
20.
Or was it 28 hours? It wasn't hours, was it? It was 28 days.
What was the film with Kim Basinger and that's
nine and a half weeks? Yeah, it wasn't
later.
that.
9.5 weeks later.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
9.5 weeks later. Oh, saddle sore like bloody John Wayne.
Oh God, come on. So yeah, like there's like these dudes like running around. They've basically their heads have gone. I guess
they've actually gone.
I guess they've still got their heads, but the inside of it's sort of hollow.
Oh,
I think it's like I think it's like a little reference to, what do you call it? Is it PTSD? The post-traumatic stress disorder? Yeah, that soldiers get.
Yeah.
It's quite deep when you think about it, so I'm not going to think about it too much more. But yeah, it's all quite interesting, and you can set up like your own zoo and stuff like that in your home base and things. So you capture you capture animals as you're going around, and you keep them in a habitat to sort of preserve them, stop them from
like
being
Zoo
bombed.
Tycoon.
A little bit like Zoo Tycoon.
Can you set up like if there's not any toilets or anything, or the
yeah, there's toilets.
Visitors, there's all visitors. They get unhappy and that sort of thing.
It's not to that level of toilets. Not quite like putting extra salt on the chips and putting the drink prices up. It's not quite that. But there are like, you have to build more areas of Mother Base. Like it's basically like Big Shell. Do you remember Big Shell from MGS2? Yeah.
Big Shell.
It's like that. It's like basically like oil rig platforms out in the Seychelles.
Can you set up like roller coaster areas as well?
Yeah. One of the good things you can't, but one of the good things about it is you go back to base all the time, and like when you go back, all the sort of soldiers that you capture, because you can send them. Have you seen the Fulton device? Fulton device. It's like a weather balloon. So you strap it. You knock someone out, like an animal or a person, or a tank eventually. And you can strap a Fulton thing to them, and basically it puts a strap around their waist, and then the weather balloon just takes them up into the air for a bit where they're hovering, and they're like, oh, and then it just like flies up into the air, and I think it must be a plane or a helicopter catches them.
Right.
You don't see any of that bit, and then it takes them back to Mother Base, and then you brainwash them into becoming your soldiers.
And do they work in the zoo then?
They don't work in the zoo, but some of them work in the gift shop, but they're not trained to do that. They're trained to kill most of them.
Cleaning out the monkeys and all that.
Yeah, I've not met any monkeys yet. Although I'm still in Afghanistan, and I think there's a fair few areas that you go to. So,
see, I'm more interested in Metal Gear now. You said you can build your own zoo,
mate. Check this out. You get there's a mission like. I mean, I'm talking about stuff that people have probably known about for ages, but there's a little mission. You drop into Afghanistan, and you hear this like little soft voice. Turn round, there's a little wolf puppy there. A little wolf puppy. Stick the Fultron on him, get him sent back to Mother Base, and then after a few missions, or like as time passes in the game, becomes a big old dog that you can take out on missions with you. For like mine sweeping, you can tell him to go and kill the enemy. You can tell him to stun the enemy. You can make him bark to distract the enemy, and you can bend down and just stroke him. I don't know if it's a he or a she. You just bend down and just give it a stroke. Good dog.
Do you like dog breeding or anything?
No, but you can make the horse defecate. There's literally a command where you can make the horse shit.
Horse apples.
Yeah. Just pop out some apples, which is really strange. Here's me saying that I wasn't going to talk about Metal Gear, but the fact that I am talking about it means that I must be enjoying it.
I'm really interested. I've never heard about the zoo bit.
The zoo bit's great. Like, I didn't even know about it. The thing is,
everyone talks about this. Everyone's talking about the combat, this, the zoo. Talk about the Pickett Zoo.
Right, okay, I'm just going to put you on the spot here. How many articles have you actually read about Metal Gear?
Mate, I can't count.
Right, so none.
I can't count.
That's
a statement. I can't count.
But that's what I mean. Like, they probably did mention this, but I've stayed away from like reviews and stuff. I think we discussed this last week, where it's like play the game, then read the reviews and find out, all the things that have.
If you agree or disagree.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but
how many animals? So can you do the zoo from the start, or do you have to play a little bit in?
You have to play a little bit in. I think it's about 5 or 6 missions in, but you can fly through those missions. Like, it's no problem at all. And then you just keep extending it, and there's like a carnivore section, and then there's an aviary, and a herbivore section.
And what can you do in the zoo?
You just walk around and look at them. Yeah.
Like a real zoo.
Yeah, literally like a real zoo.
You don't do anything else in the zoo, really, do you?
No, you can't just climb over and get on the back of a rhino and just start charging around.
That's mental. I'm in. I love Metal Gear.
Get it, mate. Get it. It's really good. It's really good. And the horse as well. Like, you can get armor for it. You can get a sneaking suit for the dog.
Horse armor.
You can get a sneaking suit for the dog. It's amazing. Right. Right, readers' questions.
Oh.
Not yet.
No,
not yet.
Stop.
No, ahead of myself. But there is a question that was put to us on Twitter from our old friend Ken Y2 Ken.
Oh, yeah, Ken Y2 Ken.
Oh, Ken also. He sent a message in, because I wanted to talk about this as well. But he sent a message in saying, PS Neo and Xbox 1.5. Good ideas to keep consoles relevant, or a dangerous consumer divide? He also says, can he get a thick shake, mate?
Get a thick mate. Get a thick shake in it, mate.
Sounds like those guys that was on the Mamba. The old special.
Get a thick shake, mate.
But yeah, I did want to talk about the PlayStation 4.5 again slightly, because they're calling 4.5 is codenamed Neo. The PlayStation VR was codenamed Morpheus. Can you see where the pattern's going here, Matthew?
Is it Greek mythology?
It is Greek mythology, yeah. It's the Matrix.
The next one's going to be called Wachowski.
Or Trinity. Well, this is the thing. They could bring out another thing. Sony could bring out another thing that is like they're all bundled together and call it the Holy Trinity. Yeah, you having that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
doing
in.
It.
He's in.
Doing it.
He's in. But yeah, there's been sort of reports about. Obviously, it's happening. The new PlayStation 4 is happening. I'm probably going to get one because my PlayStation seems to be on the out. It's started spitting the disc out randomly every now and again. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I'll probably get one anyway. Not sure I'll invest in PlayStation VR, but yeah, I'll probably get the old 4.5. But there's been reports suggesting that developers aren't particularly happy having to create games for these new specifications.
Right.
They've been saying, like, they was doing great before. Like, why do they have to do it? It's not a case of just upscaling things. Apparently, it's like they having to develop like lots of new code just to make them work on the 4.5. But what I wanted to sort of ask you is if you would invest in that and whether you think it's a good thing.
I personally wouldn't invest in it. I'm perfectly happy with the PlayStation 4, and from what I can tell from all the documents that various outlets have been privy to that allegedly have come from Sony, the documents that Sony have sent out to developers, it sounds the upshot of it, and it's quite easy to get bogged down in all the tech stuff. The upshot is it is shinier graphics. That seems to me that's the one big driving force behind it. So the frame rate's going to be more stable. Graphics are going to look nicer.
Yeah.
There's going to be more spangly effects, that sort of stuff. And you know what? I'm perfectly happy with what. And obviously the 1080p being the
4K, isn't it?
I don't know to start with. That's the thing. I mean, there is some debate as to how much the 4K bit is going to really come into it.
Right. Okay.
Because I think the 1080p is meant to be like it's going to be pushed as the it is. It's meant to be like I think mandatory resolution for the 4K. But you know what my eyes are like, mate. I don't know whether I'm playing on 1080p or.
You haven't even been looking into the webcam for the last half an hour, mate. So I'm over here, fella.
I'm looking at a post-it note stuck on the side of the screen. Oh, what, man?
You're looking.
Go on. To me, it's not. I'm not that interested right now. But if it came my PS4 knackered.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah. I'd buy another one. There's not been any discussion on price yet. How much more expensive it will be. But I don't think it's gonna.
It's interesting that you've gone. Sorry to interject, but it's interesting that you've gone down the route of that it's going to have to cost more money. It does suggest that, obviously, but what if it came out and it was cheaper?
It might not do it. Yeah, it could be. I mean, they may just start phasing out the PlayStation 4. This one would just be the new, because I know they're calling it like the base. The existing PlayStation 4 is going to be like the base console, and then there's going to be the Neo or the PS4.5, whatever you want to call it, 4K or whatever.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I wouldn't surprise me. Like there would be no reason for the original PlayStation 4 to be still in production. Doesn't make any sense because everything about the two things are completely the same. So everything is cross-platform between the two. It's not going to divide all the games. You're still only going to be buying. There's not going to be like a Neo version and a PlayStation 4 version. There's still. It's all going to be on the same disc or the same download or whatever. Still going to use the same controllers. So really, I can't quite see why they wouldn't phase out the original PlayStation 4. I don't know why they would have two, unless there is a big price difference, unless the PlayStation 4.5 is going to be like a premium console for people that choose to spend an extra £100. £150 because they want nicer looking graphics and they want the 1080p and whatever the 4K media thing is going to be. Because right now, 4K, the like Ultra HD, I don't know. That would involve me getting a new telly, getting a new everything. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't. Exactly,
and I think this is where the confusion's sort of kicking in. Like just having this, this unknown factor of it. I know they're not ready to like properly announce it yet. This is still all like rumor. The specs and all the rest of it. Yes, they are working on it, but Sony hasn't come out, as far as I'm aware, in any official capacity and said yes, this is happening. Yeah. So it's all speculation at the moment. But the one thing that speculation does is drives fear. So I'm sure that there's a fair few people that are like, I've just bought a PS4. What the hell's going on here? But I mean, as a gesture of goodwill for anyone that has bought a PS4, then. Especially in like the last month or so, then I think one of the best things that they could possibly do is like say, look, trade it in, got the box and everything like that, trade it in for 50 quid. I don't know, 100 quid, whatever the extra is. Yeah, I think that's fair. Do you not think so?
No, not really. I don't think.
No.
No. Well, I mean, would you expect Apple to do something similar with people that buy like an iPhone?
They do.
And then they do something like that. You can trade in.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I don't know. There may be, but I mean, it's just the nature of technology, isn't it? I mean, to think that at no stage, I mean, the original PlayStation 4, what was that? End of 2013, so it's not been out very long, is it?
Yeah.
But it's such a fast-moving thing. No one has to. There's no pressure on anyone to upgrade. If you don't, if you feel hard done by, then don't upgrade. Keep the PlayStation 4. You're not missing out on anything more other than shinier graphics.
But there is that thing in the back of your brain going, maybe they're getting more than what I'm getting. Like, because you know what show-offs are like, don't you? They'll be like, oh, you've only got PlayStation 4. Oh, I got the 4.5. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Like for me, it just doesn't bother me. It's like I'm perfectly happy. I mean, the majority of games I play on my PS4, probably I could have played on the PS3. Do you know what I mean? They're hardly like pushing the hardware. You know, I mean, look at the games I've been playing recently, like Broforce, Dead Star, all the PS Plus freebuzz. You know, they're hardly. That is one thing about it that is slightly concerning, is that you often, like in the old console cycles, some of the best games would come out towards the end of the cycle that were pushing the hardware to its limit, and it's like, because I still feel like the PS4 is relatively new and we're still in quite an early cycle of this gen. I still feel of it as being a bit next gen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I still kind of I don't refer to it because I never really talked to anyone about it. But, I kind of still think of it as we're still in the early days of the next generation. I don't really feel like, you know, I mean, Uncharted 4 is only just about to come out. You know, I still feel we're waiting for the big next gen games almost.
Yeah, true. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The other thing as well, like that was just on this subject. I've not seen anything about this, but Xbox 1.5. I'm sure that was sort of debunked. Ken's mentioned that on as part of his question, but I thought that was just sort of like people speculating and putting two and two together. Yeah, they've got to have another Xbox. So it'll definitely bring out another machine, but I don't think that's going to happen, is it? I mean, they sort of did that with their. I know it was just more sort of storage space, but remember the Xbox 360 had the Elite version.
Yeah.
So they've dabbled with that already.
Yeah, they've dabbled it, and I mean, there was one that, you know, if you wanted HD, some of the early Xboxes didn't have HDMI in the back. Yeah. So you know, if you wanted HD, then you had to buy the new 360. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's all about choice. Like, I don't think it'll divide the consumer base, because I think there's so many PlayStation 4s out there. Like, the people that are going to get the 4.5 will still be playing those games with you. Yeah. Like, it's not going to split anything. It's totally up to you. Like, as you said, it's shinier graphics, and I think we're reaching that stage now anyway, where graphics are just, we've topped out. There's nothing more that they can do. Like, this is why we've got VR. It's where do we go with graphics from here? It's like beam them directly into your eyes through a headset.
I have no problem with, like, I have never sat here and been playing on my PlayStation 4 and said to myself, I wish the graphics here were a bit better, or this frame rate's a bit naff. If I have, then it's more down to a developer thing than a console thing. Yeah. Because I see some of the stuff. I don't look at the trailers I've seen for Uncharted 4 and think, oh man, I wish the graphics were a bit better.
No.
Or I just don't.
Some people do, though. They're the ones that don't get out much. They just complain about anything and everything.
I'm happy playing Pong, mate.
Exactly.
You know, like,
you just got to be happy with your lot, aren't you?
What you know? How much of a GPU do you need to play Pong? Be happy. Yeah. Whatevs.
This isn't. I'm just going to move away from this now. But this isn't on the agenda. But it's something that I actually wanted. Something that I actually wanted to talk about. Yeah. Was we spoke briefly about the case, the Rockstar case last episode. And we switched off quite quickly after we started talking about it, or you did anyway. But the one of the interesting things that has come out of it is that GTA Online has made, like, I've not got the exact figures in front of me now, but it's made an extortionate amount of money. Like, and that's a free inverted commas part of GTA 5. Yeah. Where obviously you can buy more ammo packs, more clothes, hats, all the rest of it with real world currency. But back in the day when we used to do DL Central, we was all over the DLC side of that, because it was such a given, like, compared, because of obviously the way that things have panned out in the past with Red Dead's DLC packs, GTA's, like, there's stories from Los Santos. And the rest of it, it was nailed on that it was going to happen. But now that, because it's just not appeared, the Alien DLC, whatever DLC, it's not happened. It's not appeared, even though we covered it extensively back in the day. But no wonder, if GTA Online is making money hand over fist, then
why bother?
Why bother?
Yeah, because I mean, how you compare how much money they can make from flogging a few comedy hats, as opposed to having to design and come up with a whole new, like something like a heftier piece of work.
I'd be interested to know though if like they were working on something, and then like GTA Online was just an absolute behemoth, and they just downed tools on it. They just went, forget it, no point. We're making money off this. Just keep it going. They're still playing our game. It's fine.
Yeah,
we don't need the DLC.
Yeah, they could effectively just keep making new wheels and.
I've got another sort of interesting related fact. Well, it's not a fact. Is it a fact? Yeah, it's a fact, but it's not very interesting. I'm saying it anyway. There's, I said about Leslie Benzies had been canned from Rockstar North.
Oh, John Menzies.
He's gone. So he's not. He was like the head of Rockstar North. He no longer works there, and it's been well documented that he's suing Rockstar for millions in royalties. Right. But the other day, I don't know if it was a joke posting, but it does sort of fit with that Rockstar like sense of humour. They posted an advert, Rockstar North, a job advertisement for like a T-boy, like a runner, to just go in and like literally the responsibilities were go to the shop, get us lunch, get coffee, buy this, buy that, and it's like I'm basically connecting dots that aren't really that aren't there or don't need connecting. But it's like them sort of taking the piss, sort of going, this is all you amounted to at Rockstar. And it's the type of sort of like tongue in cheek, like quite a Seabrick thing that they may or may not do.
Yeah, I can imagine it might be something they do. Because would you advertise through a T-boy? We have a new vacancy. A vacancy has just arisen.
Yeah, well, they called it a runner, which is obviously that's a position within production companies. But yeah, it was just I thought it was quite funny, like connecting those dots and going, that's nice. That's it.
That's a little dig at him.
Yeah.
What was the money like?
I think it was like £12 million a day.
Yeah, who's laughing?
Yeah.
Oh, John Menzies.
Yeah, he is. Oh, well, he can retire now. If he gets even half of what he's asking, just retire, have a good time. Go and buy an island and just have a top time, like.
Buy Ireland?
Buy Ireland, buy air, and then just, I don't know, just live there in air.
Is the air
and go to a fair.
It's called Airport.
It's called
Fly
come on, mate.
Airlines.
No, because there isn't an England airport, is there?
Come on, mate.
Come on. Get with it, man.
There's not an England airport.
No, there is not.
What's that one in London called? London Airport.
That's it. Yeah.
There's not an airport in Cornwall. I know that. Used to be one in Newquay, mate. I think.
Did there?
Yeah, I think.
Where did it land? On the beach?
Yeah, like one of those boats that have got floaty bits on them.
Like one of those boats that's got floaty bits on them. like all boats.
like a plane with floaty bits on the wings.
You mean a seaplane?
That's the ones, mate.
Yeah.
Like Harrison Ford has. Not Indiana Jones has.
We got there.
Getting confused between real and not real.
Doesn't take much. Right, now it's question time. Now,
questions.
It wasn't. No, that was sort of like a
pre-question
news opinion hybrid sort of weird section that I just riffed on. Johnny riff on. But now now we're doing questions from Twitter. If you want to ask us a question, then do follow us at Cundy Nathan Show on Twitter. Get your questions in. We do post up either a day or a couple of days before we actually record the podcast, so you've got plenty of time to get your questions in. Anyway, first on the Twitter questions is Rob, Bertie D. He's just wondering what Matt Cundy thinks about the new Suda51 game, Let It Die. The trailer looks mental, obviously, he says. I've not seen it.
Let It Die. I like that it's called Let It Die because every time I say it, it makes me want to sing Let It Go, but with the word
But with
go
a really
die.
horrible twist on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, dark
I'd like to
twist.
see Disney do that one though. Right, Let It Die, then big machete into someone's skull.
Oh wow. Oh.
Well, that's kind of what happens in the trailer. It's pretty gory looking.
Right.
I mean, as far as it being a Suda 51 game, I'm not entirely sure how involved he is in it. I don't think he's actually, it's not like a Killer 7 style job where he's your head man.
Yeah.
I think it's from his studio, Grasshopper, but how involved he is, other than more than I don't know. Honestly, not sure. So I don't know if it is strictly Suda 51 game.
Right.
But I mean, it looks quite interesting. I mean, it looks very violent.
Yeah. I've not seen it. I should watch it, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the main sort of interesting point is that you get to play. So, if you build up your character and stuff, and then if you die, like the kind of your character will become part of another player's world.
Right. Okay.
So kind of like, well, that's that.
That's that. Brilliant. That's good.
That's that feature explained, really.
Good. Fantastic.
So other players' characters, when they die, they inhabit, populate, haunt, whatever you want to call it, other players' worlds. So, so I mean, it looks kind of like hyper violent. So I don't,
What's the name of the company then that's developing this? Because it isn't Grasshopper, is it?
I thought it was Grasshopper.
Is the trailer where like death or there's a Grim Reaper style?
Yeah, with the skateboard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that wasn't the name that it came up with first of all.
Oh, maybe. Isn't it? No, was it Gung Ho?
I'm watching it live. Oh God! He smashed his face right in.
Is it Gung Ho or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, something
they do
like that.
It's their first game they've done together, I believe. Because I think. Oh, come on, mate! You know what? Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yes, I flustered him.
Yeah, Gung Ho Online, and they're the publishers. So it's the first game they've done together.
Right. His head's come off.
Gung Ho.
He's on a spike.
I'll give it a go because it's free to play. So why not?
Is it?
It's going to be a free to player, mate.
Is it an MMORPG?
MMO. When across they both select them.
There's a man with satellite dishes in his head, or some sort of beast with satellite dishes.
I'll give it a go.
What are they doing? They're injecting him with something.
You can't do.
They've given him a red eye.
Red eye.
Right. Oh man, he's got what? He's cut him in half. Anyway, there we go. Live commentary on Let It Die. Grim Reaper on a skateboard. Who doesn't like that? What a logo that is.
The Grind Reaper.
Get out.
Because he's on
on
a skateboard.
Stop it. No. Stop this. Stop it now. Anyway, that's that done. You're going to get it, yeah?
Well, I'll play it because it's free to play, innit? It'd be stupid not to at least give it one go. Wouldn't it?
Fair enough.
I don't mind giving a few free to players a go. I haven't found one on the PS4 that I'm ever stuck with. I had to go on, what was that, Warframe?
Oh, I had to go on that.
Played that for about 20 minutes.
That was the Dark Sector guys, wasn't it? Was it a D3? D3 Publishing?
Yeah, it could be.
Is that it? I can't remember what their name was. I quite enjoyed. I've just meet Dark Sector. Is it Dark Sector? Is that what it was called? The guy with the guy with the blade.
The guy with the throwy.
Yeah.
Type.
The glaive. The glaive. Rise from your glaive.
Yeah, that was alright, wasn't it?
Anyway, let's move on.
War Tank. What's the other one? World of Tanks. I added a little bang on that as well. That was classic because you start out as like a kind of the equivalent of the Robin Reliant of tanks, and take 20 minutes to trundle into the fucking battlefield and 0.1 of a second to get blasted apart by a fucking Panzerschreck.
That's it.
Disaster.
That's just like real life, mate.
I'm out.
The life of a tank driver.
I was out. I did try and stick with it, so thought, I'll just level up. But
forget it. Life's too short, mate. If you're not enjoying something straight away, get out. Get out.
4 hours of getting smashed in the Robin Reliant tank.
Is that a euphemism? Is that a euphemism? 2 hours of being smashed in the Robin Reliant.
It was back. It's like being back in the playground, mate. Bigger boys just smashing me up.
Oh God. Well, we'll save that for therapy. Mark Walsh, Captain Fudgesicle, says, would you rather have 100 duck-sized Cundies
What's this?
or one Cundy-sized duck? Oh, that's
100 duck-sized
Cundies.
Cundy-sized duck. It's not really a question for me, is it? It seems
No, I'm trying to think. Like, I'm thinking which would be the less of a nightmare.
I could go to the park. It'd be quite cool if I was me and I could sit on the park bench feeding like 100 duck-sized Cundies.
Yeah.
Like little, like mini-me's. What are those things called out of that film? The
Minions.
Like Minions, but with feathers and a bad bread habit.
See, but it only says that you're going to be duck size. It doesn't say that you're going to have any of its characteristics. So, you might not be able to swim.
Quacking?
Well, it doesn't say that, does it?
Well, I'd assume by being the shape of a duck.
Maybe.
Oh, it's duck shape or duck size? I imagine he means duck shape, surely.
A Cundy-sized duck just suggests that, like, it would be, a 5'10" duck.
Shouldn't really feed ducks bread. It's not that good for them. It's not
Isn't
like
it?
a natural. Well, it's not the sort of thing they'd eat in the wild, is it? I've not seen many like duck Gregs around.
Duck Gregs. They're just like human
Pasties
Gregs,
full of bread.
but they're just they keep the duck food in bin bags that they peck open.
I do like ducks.
With their bills. I think 100 duck-sized Cundies, just because I'd like to sort of order them around like a Pikmin, just see what adventures we could come up with.
What did the noseless duck say in the restaurant?
Oh God, here we go.
Can I have the bill, please? That's good. I just made that up on the spot. That is hot. That's hot, right?
Come on, mate. Come on. Don't do this. Don't bring this down.
Can I have the bill, please? Because it was.
I get it.
I don't know if it's their
no,
nose or
no
is it their
further explanation
Is it
needed.
their mouth or their nose?
Their
I
nose
think
is
it's
there as
combined.
well. It's all combined, isn't it?
That's clear. That's amazing.
Yeah, good.
That's nature.
He's proud of himself. Danny Boy, aka Sand in my ass, says Dark Souls or Bloodborne.
Bloodborne every day of the week.
Really?
Well, because I like Bloodborne, and
Oh, right, there you go.
I didn't really. I didn't get on with Dark Souls. I didn't get on with it, but Bloodborne.
I think I'm leaning towards Bloodborne as well, because of the same reasons. Like, I didn't really get on with Dark Souls, and like, there's people like Rich Stanton who used to write for like future publications and writes for the Guardian. He's so knowledgeable about Dark Souls, and he talks about it on Twitter so much that it both makes me excited about the game, but also so fearful about getting involved in it, because I just know that it's just such an intimidating game. It rewards you for being good. It's completely balanced, but there's just too much to it, and I can't get into it. So Bloodborne for me.
Bloodborne, yeah. I mean, because the lore of Bloodborne is quite interesting as well. Because you
I'm
kind
not
of follow.
in it for the lore, mate. I'm in it for the killing.
There's loads of killing.
Always.
But the lore is so organically done. You don't get bogged down in it unless you really want to. It's there if you want to read the parchments.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, I think it's the same in Dark Souls as well, though. But I fought the lore, and the lore won in Dark Souls, so it put me off. It put me off, and I was out.
So Bloodborne, I really enjoyed. I loved Bloodborne, and there were bits I hated because it was just kill me now. But I'd always find a way around it. There was always something was too hard. It's either because I'd got there too quickly and I needed to go and do something else, or it was very, it's quite a logical way to progress through the game. But I completed it, and then I was like, I'm going to go back and do it on the daddy hardness.
Yeah.
Just to have the. But ours, no daddy, mate.
No.
It's too hard. I was like, I can't do this again. It's
No.
literally killing me now.
Exactly.
It wasn't. I shouldn't have said literally then, because I didn't literally die. Although my character did.
Yeah.
Several times, so maybe that was the correct usage. I'm sick of hearing people say literally, and I can't start saying.
Yeah, no, I find myself doing that as well. I literally do it all the time. But oh no. Mr. Drippy, Simon198 says time travel or space travel. Ooh,
time travel, mate.
Would you? Where would you go to?
Well, I could travel into the future when space travel is available and do have best of both worlds. Boom.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Time travel, mate. Who wouldn't want to?
No, but no. Let's keep it. I'm putting restrictions on this. Like, you can have time travel, but when you go forward, you're not allowed to use space travel.
You can't have rules to this.
I've done it, mate. What are you gonna do?
Time travel, space.
There we go.
For all intents and purposes, it's still pretty boring.
If you could go back to any period, either in your life or before, where would you go back to with time travel?
Oh, I don't know. Really, not that interested.
I love this. Love this. Every podcast.
Where would I go? No, I'd go everywhere. I'd go like.
What would you like to see? Is there a specific event that you would like to see?
I'd go back. Oh, a specific event in time. Oh, where would I go now?
I'd quite like to go back to the real or not the moon landings. When was that? 1969. Never been back since.
1908. What, to the moon?
Yeah, which makes you think.
They never did it, mate.
Was it real? Was it real or not? But the reason why I would like to go back to that period is because it's like such a momentous occasion to sort of like be part of that. Like, just all nations combined. Like, holy shit, are they going to make it? What's going to happen when they're up there? You know, I imagine it was quite a spectacular time to be alive for human achievement.
When people still thought there was
human faking.
So there could be something interesting out there than just a big ball of nothing.
Yeah, just moon men. Here's an interesting fact. Do you want an interesting space fact while we're talking about this?
Go.
So you know Mars has 2 moons.
I do now.
Phobos and Demios, I think they're called, after Roman gods, I think.
Cornish gods.
After Cornish gods.
Yeah.
Mars is pulling Phobos in slowly
Shit.
Every century by about, I think, a couple of meters. Eventually, it's going to bring it so close that it's going to pull the moon apart. Phobos going to pull the moon apart, and then Mars is going to have a ring around it. That's what it's estimated as, anyway.
It's pulling. Right. So, what time scale is this? 'Cause that sounds like it's going to be
hundreds and hundreds of millions of years.
Right. So it's not going to be in our lifetime.
No. But
That's
eventually,
good,
you could use time travel to go forward to that time just to see it. Earth would probably be just a ball of fire by then, though.
Right.
So you have to choose wisely where you're going to land. Like,
it's funny, time travel's popped up because I've started playing a bit of Life is Strange. I played the first episode of Life is Strange.
Oh well, you haven't even been talking about it. Well, you'll have to save that for the next podcast. Forget it. No,
that's what I was doing, and then the time travel thing came up, and I was like, and if you like time travel and space, read Sirens of Titan by Kurt Vonnegut. That's my recommendation. That's probably my favourite book of all time.
The only Kurt Vonnegut story I've read is Breakfast of Champions, and that was pretty grim.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah.
Breakfast of Champions. Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, it's. He's my favourite author, so read all his stuff.
Yeah. Of course it is.
Do that.
Mate.
So yeah, time travel for me, mate. But I've no idea. Well, I'll probably go back to the 60s because I always think I should have been born in the 60s.
What rather than the 50s? Ole, 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 ole.
All right.
He's gone over his head, that one.
Yeah. But yeah, 60s would have probably been, like the decade when people thought the war was all done with and all that. I know the war was done with in the 50s, but there was like
love, baby.
Suddenly felt like, oh yeah, we can do things, we can change things, we can make this world before it all became shit. And it was like, oh, you know what? We're never going to change anything. Yeah, we're always going to be the little people. We're always going to be downtrodden. Scum.
Mate. Oh wow. Wow, this has put a real... Wow. What a downer he's just put on it. Wow. Bloody hell.
Cheers for that, Drippy.
Yeah, Mr. Drippy.
Mr. Drippy. Was that actually one of the Mr. Men? Was there a Mr. Drippy?
I don't know. Maybe one of the dirty Mr. Men.
I might do a Mr. Drippy story. Mr. Drippy meets Mr. Tick.
Moving on. Eddie Rose 13 says, if you could toot on a trumpet, what tune would you toot on it, and in whose face would you do it?
Well, I'd probably do
The Spanish Fly, yeah.
Yeah, because that just kind of feels... Is it Spanish
happy.
Fly? Spanish Fly is the aphrodisiac. Spanish Flea is the song.
Spanish Flea, yes. Yes.
You've got sex on the mind, you have, mate.
Oh, it's the Mr. Drippy talk, mate.
You're honking on some Spanish Fly. Yeah, I'd probably do that. Or I'll just do like...
In whose face?
Whose face? Probably in Alfred Hitchcock's face, because...
yeah?
Well, because he's always walking around with like a trombone or something, isn't he? And he's got like a brass... He's got a brassy stature about him, like a big, windy, tubey stature. Like, he is that noise, but on legs and with the brain.
Yeah.
When I see him, all I can think of is... Not that I see him a lot, but he is like the noise... If you could personify the noise of or embody, rather, the noise of a what was it, a trumpet or a trombone? What were we going to call it?
Trumpet, mate.
Trombone.
Not
something
trombone.
big, like one of the big ones they carry around, and they got the massive honking horn on it.
The umper, the one that makes the umper sound.
The umper, that's the one. Yeah,
the umper sound. What's that called?
It's called an umper, I think, mate.
Is it?
I don't know. That's a trombone, isn't it?
I don't know, mate. No, the trombone's the one with where you stretch your arm out. That one.
The bassoon.
No, the trumpet's Bobby Gillespie, not Bobby Gillespie. Dizzy Gillespie. Bobby Gillespie from Primal Scream has gone in a different tangent recently.
Bassoon's like a flute, mate. I've just typed it in. I'm out of my depth here.
He's gone. He's gone. You mean a French horn? That's what you mean.
French horn. You're back on the Spanish Fly again, mate, aren't you?
I got the French horn for some Spanish Fly.
Yeah, no, it's a tuba.
Tuba.
I'll have the bill, please. No, it's not even that. It's a bit like that. Yeah, I think it might have been the tuba.
Forget it. You're thinking bagpipes. Let's just move on.
So yeah, that's my choice anyway.
Yeah, I'd probably like to play something like Summer Breeze in a lovely lady's face as her hair blows back to the toots of my Summer Breeze rendition.
Keep your toots in your pocket, mate.
Toot!
Our toots to the maytals.
Pedro Ruiz says, are you two competitive when you play video games? I play a lot of Street Fighter V because I love the competition in it. Are you competitive, Matthew?
Well, I've very rarely played competitive games against other people, but when I used to play like the football games...
Oh, the football. Which football?
I'd rather win than lose, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course. I think we're all, like, to a certain extent, competitive. I think there's just varying differences of how much you let that affect your game playing. Like I think even in single-player games, you want to do your best in it, because otherwise, why are you playing the game?
Yeah.
So it's literally what games are about, right? Competitiveness?
Competing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some games, I suppose. Some games aren't, are they? Bloody Firewatch is just about walking around in the pigging woods.
I saw someone say that people referring to Firewatch as a walking simulator were lesser human beings than the rest of us. Can't remember
Well,
who it
what
was.
else is it?
I can't remember who it was that said it, but I thought, oh, that's a reference to Cundy. That's pretty spot on, to be fair.
Who was it? Okay.
But yeah. So I saw someone
Just
someone
walking
mention that. Forget it, mate. It's all right. We're done with that. Forget that. Alistair Miller's got 2 questions. He says...
Pull it in.
Yeah, pull it in.
Quick. That's it. I saw I got this week.
Yeah. Oh, good. He says, does back hair gross you out?
No, I'm comfortable with back hair. I'm comfortable. I tell you what grosses me out more is people that insist on shaving areas of their body.
We've spoke about this about the pubic region before, and
anything.
You want Grizzly Adams like style, all dreadlocked up.
That's how we're meant to be, mate.
No, it's not.
If anything, I admire someone who retains hair on their back and chest where it's deemed to be unfashionable for some reason.
What if it's like a big rug of like back hair?
Well, it's something to be admired. And
something to grab onto.
And marvel at. Because, it is like... It's hair.
something to ruffle.
I'm not upset by back hair at all. I'm more upset by people that are upset by back hair.
Right. I'm not upset by it, but I've been to some water parks while I've been out here, and it's not a pleasant thing to see.
Down the old hairy chute, mate.
Yeah, mate. It's not.
Although I was saying that, I have thought about having me carefully here, to prevent the old tag nuts.
What? What's going on here?
My anus hairs trimmed.
What? Oh, come on.
I wouldn't go full backsack and crack. I'll just go crack.
Because of all your clinkers?
Yeah, it annoys me sometimes. Just want a clean exit.
Oh, come on. Getting stuck. Getting matted in there. Oh, God. You sound like Eric.
Well, sometimes you have
Eric
to go
the dog.
at it, don't you? You have to go at it.
Sometimes you have to shave Eric's arse.
Who sent this question in?
Alistair Miller. His next question is, though, and I feel like I don't know if it warrants a jokey reply or not, but he says, what do you do when you're feeling down? Because I don't know if you are feeling down, or hopefully this podcast has made you a little bit happier, and I'd hate to think that this is like a little cry for help, but he's literally asked us that question, what do you do when you're feeling down?
I know. Well, I go exercise is the best thing.
That is exactly what I was going to say as well. Exercise. The worst thing you can do is when you're feeling down is sit in the place where you're feeling down and just accept, because that's when you start like thinking about it and everything mounts up, and even small sort of like tiny things that wouldn't usually annoy you just become huge, and the best thing to do is just go out and just try and exercise. And it doesn't have to be like, slipping your lycras on and going for 100-metre sprints like down the street. You can just go out for a walk. Yeah. Clear your head. It's exercise, and it's all good.
I do find it more than walking, like running, I find more rewarding mentally.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason I go running is mental.
Yeah.
It's physical is a nice reason to go running as well, but it is more to keep me not mad.
To keep in time with the I understand what you're saying. To keep in line with the sort of theme of the podcast, which is, I don't know, contemporary references probably, but like with games, I find if I'm feeling down or just feeling bit under the weather, I find that playing games doesn't help. I don't know if that's the same for you as well, but like if I'm like feeling like, oh God, where's the motivation? Fine, if I just play games, I'm not even focused on what's going on the screen. I'm playing it almost on autopilot and just try and thinking of the other crap. Right. But so yeah, I think get off if you're feeling down, get off social media. Don't play games. Get outside. Yeah, there you go.
I'd definitely go with, because I get like I reckon I don't know. I don't want to like self what do you call it?
Flagellate.
So, well, I don't mind that, but self-diagnose myself with something. But I think I'm fairly like bipolar, because I can be like up and down very much. But and when you're up, you just have to make the most of it, because I always know it's going to be followed by a down at some point. Yeah. But yeah, I think. And what helps, other than the exercise, like going and having a run, and it's only like a couple miles a day in the morning, and I feel set up then for the day, and that's great. But then, like Nate said, getting off the social medias, turning off the noise. I find I get too much noise, there's too much interference, and I just, it's all that stuff. There's nothing I can say specifically why, but when I'm not on my computer looking at social media or the internet at large, I feel much happier, just generally. And I kind of feel bad about that, because it's just I turn off all the bad shit that's happening in the world, and that's kind of like a head in the sand thing. But
I think sometimes you have to, because otherwise it'll bury you. I just feel bad. Anyway, we gone deep. Sorry. I was just going to say, I'll just have a big wank. Anyone, that'll sort you out for at least 30 seconds.
Cry wank.
Not a cry wank.
Isn't it? Is it Wolf of Wall Street? The guy says have a wank every morning. Not Leonardo DiCaprio, but like his mentor.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He says just get it out, bang it out.
Yeah. So that's why I'm on like 4 a day. Just because if it's all right for you in the morning, then imagine what sort of capacity you can work at with 4 a day.
I don't want to know about this.
I'm tired all the time though, mate. I'm tired and feel weak. Like my arm's massive though. My right arm's huge.
Well, that's our therapy for Alistair. So we charge £10 an hour. So just feel free to go and become a patron.
Yeah, put that on the patronage.
Yeah, if that's helped you out, then But hope you are all right.
Yeah,
and
Not to just dismiss it, but I am going to move on to the next question now. J. Gale, Emperor Radish, says, inspired by your GIF, are you Team Iron Man, Team Captain America, or Team Couldn't Give a Shit?
Oh, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because I think I probably like old Tony Stark maybe a bit more because he's a bit more rogue-like. He's a bit more roguish, isn't he? He's a bit more of a Han Solo in a suit.
He is.
Captain America, I do like Captain America, but he's got that kind of, he's a bit too patriotic, goody-goody.
He's just a man with a shield. He's just a man with a shield.
He's augmented.
But it just doesn't, I'm not, like, we've got strong characters. He doesn't do anything for me at all. Iron Man all day for me. Iron Man.
And Iron Man, has he got Scarlett Johansson as like his secretary, or is that Black Widow? I get confused.
But she's Black Widow,
Widow.
Because
are they against each other in the next film then?
I think so,
In the next Captain America. Because I like the last two Captain Americas. I really enjoyed them.
Oh, someone else has asked the question, but I can't find who it was that asked it. Should I read it out anyway? Oh no, I've got it. John Doe number 2, Egg Skywalker, says, would you rather have finger-length legs or leg-length fingers? Oh man.
Finger-length
legs. So
legs.
tiny
so
legs.
Our bodies would still be the same size?
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't work. Or
no, they'd be strong. They'd be strong enough to hold you. They'd just be the size of fingers.
Oh, so like E.T. sort of like legs.
Yeah,
because that's what E.T.'s got, really, isn't it?
Well, no.
Although his fingers are really long.
I mean, he said what the rules are here. It says there, finger length legs or leg length fingers. You wouldn't want to go around like bloody Edward Scissorhands with like giant fingers.
But at the same. Yeah.
At least you could hide that. At least you could hide the small legs. You could sit in a wheelchair and just have a little blanket over you, and then no one would ever see your tiny, underdeveloped legs, or perfectly developed in this weird world.
If you had like massive fingers, you could like if like a little baby bird had fallen out of a nest, you could pick it up and put it.
Mate,
back in.
I've rescued 2 birds since I've been out here in a matter of weeks. Just found them on like stuck on balconies. The bird whisperer, they call me.
Dubai's Bill Oddie.
Yeah. That's it.
Although I'm saying that, like leg length fingers, they wouldn't be long enough to reach into a tree. Your legs aren't that long, are they? I'm thinking they're really long. I don't know what. I think I'd go for finger length legs.
Yeah, and I think I would as well, because it'd just be weird. You'd be walking around like some sort of. Because if you had leg length fingers, you'd be walking around like some sort of Silent Hill character.
Yeah, and it's hard to see what benefit.
There wouldn't be a benefit.
You could go like if you had like finger length legs, you could go.
There's no benefits to either of these things, Matthew. It's all weird.
Robot legs or something, but you couldn't. You could amputate your fingers because they would just be a nuisance. They would be a hindrance.
That's true. That is true. But then
you could
because you've got to keep them. That's the whole point of the question.
There's no rules there.
Yes, it is. He's saying, would you rather have it?
I keep coming up with good answers, and then
you keep coming up with compromises to a very, very straight question. That's what you keep doing.
If you could just like shorten your fingers with surgery.
No, you're not allowed.
Do it on the NHS, I expect.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can get a boob job on the NHS these days, and
could I?
Can you get a penis enlargement on the NHS? Is that possible?
I don't know if it was just a cosmetic thing, then probably not. I don't think they do. Then they're not cosmetic. That's not their vibe.
Could you argue that it is?
That's not their business model.
Could you argue that it is?
It depends. I mean, it depends if it's having an impact on your life.
What if you was a lifeguard at a swimming pool, but the shorts that you were supplied were like small and revealing to the other people that you was working with, but you only had like a tiny acorn? Would you be able to? Would you be able to argue that you need it on the NHS, like to build your confidence again.
I was happy with leg length fingers. This is now you're talking about little nub in my pants.
Nubbins. And on that bombshell.
Will you still do and will you still dee-da? Commodore 64.
There we go. The new jingle. Fresh, hot off the press.
That took me hours to do that.
Yeah?
I had to get like a composer in.
All right. How much did that cost you?
Quite a bit. That's
Should we
right,
stick that on the patronage page, mate?
Yeah.
Get that covered off there.
See, that is the sort of quality that you're getting. That is free content.
That's free. Imagine what he could do if you actually paid for it.
Yeah. I found a whole hitherto undiscovered section on the keyboard while I was recording that of sound effects.
Good.
It's like up in the 300 range, so you type in 301, 302, etc. And I didn't even know they were there. They're
Wow.
not in the advertised sound effects area, which is like down in the hundreds somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like some other bit, and I never knew what it was. It's
Wow.
like there's all these new like alien noises, phone rings, doors, heartbeats.
Every day's a school day.
It's meant I was up there for hours, just giggling.
Anyway.
Anyway, so this is the highlight of the podcast, I think.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you sound convinced.
Yeah. No, I'm just waiting for you to tell me why.
Yeah, and I know that this is what the listeners have probably come back for.
Oh, of course they have.
Keep coming back for
Of
is
course.
this Commodore 64 section.
Yes.
And in this week's Commodore 64 section, Nathan,
Yes.
Rather than talk about a game,
We've had a tease. We've had a tease of this on Twitter. We had a tease of it.
I'm going to talk about the joysticks that I used to use.
Actual computer joysticks, or
Computer
back when
joysticks.
you used to work on the docks.
No. So the actual joysticks, because back then, I mean, you can get like all sorts of pads now. But does anyone use pads that aren't? There was no such thing as like a. Oh, I'm saying that I was going to say there was no such thing as an official Commodore 64 joystick. But
There was so. Yeah, it came with it.
Yeah, it was the 1311 was the model number of that one, and it was well, it's funny you should mention that actually, Nathan.
Oh yes, yes.
Because it was had a distinct triangular shaft.
Mm-hmm.
So the shaft stick had a triangular shape.
Oh god!
And so when you gripped the shaft,
Oh.
The shape of it was, I mean, basically it was designed to be as uncomfortable as possible. Because
Right.
with edges, what do you get with edges and soft, fleshy hands? You get blisters.
Oh.
And
No
it
one wants that.
And you had one that it had, and it was very small. It's quite a small base as well. So it fit into the palm of your hand. So you'd have one indent in the palm of your hand.
Yes.
You still interested in this? It's good.
I am. Yeah.
So it fit in, and so on one hand you had a massive indent,
Yes.
and on your other hand that you'd used to grasp the stick, the triangular stick, you had blisters, and then also there was a really shit fire button, which was like a lozenge shape.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
It was a lozenge shape, but you had to press it right in the middle. If you
Yeah.
pressed it the side, because the way they used to work, it'd have a little spring under the centre, and that would press down on a little contact underneath, like a bit of circuitry underneath.
Yes.
It was very analogue, very old school. But that was the first joystick that I used with my Commodore, but that was the joystick no one wanted. That was...
So did the joystick? Because I'm looking at it now, and yeah, it looks like super primitive. But
Yes.
The joystick with the more traditional one. Are you coming on to this now? The one with the two buttons. Are you about to talk about that
No,
now?
I've got one with the two buttons, but
Right.
it's not a Commodore one. It was by someone else.
See, there is one here that's advertised as a C64 one though. And
It's compatible with C64?
No,
is it?
it's like it's got the all the packaging is like C64. Oh, hang on, come on, mate. It's one of those plug and play things. It's one of those 30 games in one joystick things.
Forget that.
Was that before or after the crap one that you talked about?
What's that?
The small one with the two buttons, was that before or after the sort of triangular?
That was the triangular one. The small one with two buttons.
The small one with the
Oh my God.
with the knob on the top.
Yes, that's the Kempston one. That was my final joystick choice. I had others in between.
Right.
But the Kempston, which was, I think it was called the Competition Pro, and that had, as opposed to, let me rewind.
Right, go on, yeah.
Because after the Commodore joystick,
it's going well, this section.
It always does, mate.
I know, exactly.
I've worked quite hard on this week.
Yeah, I know.
To research this.
I know, exactly, yeah.
So then I moved on to the Atari joystick, because I used to have the old Atari 2600, 2400.
Yes. Yep.
What was they called? Is that it? Well, the one with the wood veneer and all that,
Yeah.
And those, because they used to use the same, they were called DE9 connectors. They were like the D-shape connectors. You still get them on computer. You've probably got it on your computer now. If you look at the side of your computer and there's like a little port.
Yeah.
They used the same connecting thing, so I could just take my old Atari joystick, put it on the Commodore, and it was much better than the Commodore 64 one. But the build quality on the Atari ones, in the middle, they only had a plastic, the stem, or shaft or stick, whatever you want to call it. It's the shaft bell every time. Shaft. Every time I say the word shaft, I have to ring the bell.
Right.
So that made of plastic, and when you get angry and furious with games.
Oh yeah.
And if with a controller, do you sometimes press the buttons really hard when you're angry, or
sometimes,
clench up?
I just feel angry in general, when I'm playing games,
Just furious.
Yeah.
Well, with the joysticks, it was always like I would always lean on it. Really
right.
Oh, you fucking
Yeah.
Like that sort of level of anger, and because it was the shaft was plastic, they didn't like that, and they'd often it fucked the joystick basically, and often you would have the contact because inside.
What would the game be that would force you into this pushing of the joystick in a wrong
different
fashion?
Ones. I don't know what would have been the most outrageous.
Was there no specific infuriating one? Yeah.
No, not that I can remember. There's probably some. No, I can't remember any that made me specifically angry.
Did you ever have the scoreboard joystick that was on the Spectrum, which was a similar type to the Competition Pro one?
No.
I'm just looking at the price of it. Back in 1985 when it came out, it was 28 quid. Or 29 quid.
Competition Pro?
No, for the scoreboard joystick for the bloody Spectrum. So you think like I know they are expensive now, like the PlayStation like DualShock and the Xbox pads. They're like 40, 50 quid now, but I mean it's nothing new, that is it? That bloody joystick, two fire buttons it had, £28.
That's pretty nuts, isn't it? The Commodore one I think was like £7 or something, but
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's
it's not.
Well, the DualShock sounded like 50 quid, didn't they?
Yeah.
I got someone from Game. It's got like urban camo on it.
Urban camo. I need another one because the analog stick rubber's peeled off. Poor build quality. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
No, that's not what we're talking about. The one reason I did like the Atari joystick, I used to chew the ends of them, the rubber sheath, like the cover over the shaft.
Gerbil.
The rubber sheath that went over the shaft. It had a really satisfying chewy bit on the end.
Right, yeah.
Oh my!
You like to nibble the end?
Yeah, I did.
When it was covered in rubber.
The rubber sheath. I used to nibble it. I didn't even nibble it. I gnawed it with my back teeth. It's like a really quite satisfying.
Would you ever chomp down so that you felt underneath the
feel the plastic?
Yeah, underneath the rubbery shaft. Rubbery sheath. Would you ever bite down so that you could get your teeth into the shaft properly? No. No,
I never went that far. Although maybe I did. But I used to get like. I must have done because it used to like sometimes there would be like saliva inside the. Inside the stem.
I mean, at least you were being safe with it. That's the important thing.
Then after that, I moved on to the quick shot. So this is good, yeah? You're enjoying this still?
I am, yeah.
Still in. So I moved on to the quick shot. And
these are all Commodore 64 ones, right?
They were quick shot was like I'm pretty sure you could get the quick shot for the Specky. I'm sure.
But the section is called Commodore 64. I mean, I'm just just making sure that we're still on track
Oh,
here.
yeah. Oh, I'm totally on track.
Every now and again, I mean, it might look like I'm tuning out, but what I'm trying to think is he still talking about Commodore 64 here?
Yeah, it is.
Right,
so
right,
the next one I got was the
right.
QuickShot 2 Turbo.
Right.
And that was the first joystick I had experienced that had featured suction cups. So you could put it on your top, your tabletop or whatever you're playing, your desk or whatever, and it was secure.
Doesn't that seem like a very old school thing to do now? Considering,
cups.
Considering like, you know, most sort of gaming is done sat with a wireless controller, so it's not even connected physically to the machine that you're playing it with.
Yeah.
But and even like, you know, even if I was playing a game on the PC, I've got a wireless mouse, but this is literally talking about a joystick that you fix in place so that you can play a game.
Suction cup. Yeah, the suction cups were a genius addition to it, but do you know what else the QuickShot was famous for? Or was known for at the time?
Exploding.
No, it was
killing children.
Why would it be known for killing children? What a silly thing to say.
Choking on the ends of it, like.
No, you didn't. I didn't chew the end of that. It was it was plastic mold. It's full plastic molding.
Right. Okay.
It had a black shaft and a red base, but the shaft was ergonomic. So it was the first joystick that had an ergonomic handle. So basically, like the finger grooves, like the finger grips.
Yeah.
So
to give you better purchase of when you was gripping the shaft.
Exactly, and it also had two. But it was the pioneer of the ergonomic grip handle for joysticks.
Right.
But it also had a trigger fire and a thumb fire. So that was also pretty good. But not only that, and I can see by your face that you are.
I'm thinking about.
Impressed at this.
I'm thinking about different joysticks that I might have used over the years. But go on, carry on.
It also had. I don't know if it was the first that did this. I don't think it did. I don't think it was the first, but it had auto fire. Option,
right, yeah.
Had a little slider switch, so you had manual fire, auto fire, and then it had something called CPC 464, which at the time I didn't really know what that was. I didn't have any idea, and I thought that was like an exciting fire button setting that would do something amazing. But it turns out it just made the joystick compatible with the Amstrad CPC. So it was like so it worked with the Amstrad CPC. I don't know whoever would have had an Amstrad CPC. I didn't know anyone with a CPC. Did you?
I think Captain Fudgesicle might have mentioned something about having. Mark Walsh might have said something on Twitter about having an Amstrad. I'm checking. Carry on talking.
That was the QuickShot 2 Turbo. So from the QuickShot 2 Turbo, I then evolved up to the next QuickShot, which is the QuickShot 5. I had a gap, and the QuickShot 5 was actually less good than the QuickShot 2 Turbo. But the QuickShot 5 is notable for it had a weird, really rectangular, asymmetrical base. It had like a weird bit on the side, like a little bit on the side, and it also had a massive. It was notable for its had a massive rectangular fire button,
right?
Which was good for
big red bit on it.
Was
the red bit at the top of the shaft, or was it?
It had a red fire button at the top.
Top of the shaft. Red bit at the top of the shaft. Yeah.
A yellow trigger.
Yellow.
Button. Exactly.
Whereabouts was the yellow bit?
Trigger button. So for your index finger.
Right. So like.
So as you grip,
just halfway up the shaft. Yeah. It discoloured and gone. It discoloured and gone yellow. Yeah.
I don't know why it was yellow. I never liked it at the time. It's like fire buttons red.
Might want to get some tablets for that.
Not yellow.
Yeah.
Hey doctor, my fire button's gone yellow. I don't know what's wrong with it. It used to be red. But yeah, it's just at the top of the shaft, near the tip. This is so childish, laughing about the word shaft. So obvious this was going to happen in a little section about joystick. Try to bring in a little bit of history, a bit of heritage. And this is what happens. So anyway, it had this massive fire button, which was really good for playing two-player games, especially. So
sharing it with someone else.
My brother could operate fire,
right,
or he could operate the stick.
So you would play with a shaft. You and your brother. One pressing
fire.
One pressing the yellow bit. and then the other making sure that the red bit was working.
The big red button was what player 2 could use, but it was really handy for like hypersports or like hurdling, when you had to do hurdling in games.
Oh yeah.
So one of you could waggle.
Right. Yeah.
And one of you could waggle, and one of you could jump with the massive fire button.
Right.
It brought a whole new dimension to it, but unfortunately, it wasn't a great waggler. As joysticks go, it wasn't the best waggler stick. It was a bit loosey goosey.
Right. Okay. Like an old. Was it quite an old waggler stick? Quite an old shaft that you was.
Again, I don't think the shaft itself.
Well worn or not well worn.
It was plastic. It was plastic. It didn't feel very robust, so it wasn't. And it had a bit too much travel on it, maybe. So it could quite easily have a little bit too much, and you would have.
Right.
Right, and then final one. And then
right. Okay. Yeah.
So we can move on. So I know this is gold now.
Yeah. No. Keep going.
I know that patrons are going to be pouring in after this.
Keep going.
Big time. So the last one is the Competition Pro Extra, and that for me, that was the daddy one. That was the first.
I'm looking.
That's the one you. That's the one you were talking on.
Yes.
Short shaft, because previously they were all very much
still
quite long.
Like it's not it's not how big it is though, is it? Like the shaft, it's what you do with it.
It had and it lost the ergonomic bits. They'd moved away from that design.
Yeah.
And they'd gone with like a smaller shaft, but it was steel. So inside
so quite slippery to grip.
Really robust.
Yeah.
And it was also it had a knob on the top, like a ball knob.
Right. Okay. Top. Yeah. Bulbous area. Was that red?
No, that was just black. I think you could get a red one. I think one of them was like clear plastic with a red stick.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Bulbous knob on the top.
Yeah.
But it also had like a support around the base of the shaft.
Right. Okay.
A bit like a cock ring, I suppose.
Right. Okay.
But
okay.
So the joystick, it was really it's really sturdy and secured.
Right.
So it was a really good, robust,
big
stick.
But
and the short length
shaft
as well. So it didn't have loads of travel on it either. So and it was micro switched as well. So you had the nice clickety click.
Yes.
And the micro switches were very satisfying, and also you didn't. I think one of the earlier versions was like a leaf switch thing, which was different. Didn't want that micro switch.
Right.
Superior.
Okay.
And that was my joystick of choice. I stuck with that one.
Right.
And it was brilliant. And it also, because it had 2 fire buttons on.
Oh yeah.
Placed at the end.
Yeah.
It got around the problem because a lot of the old joysticks the early ones had 1 fire button, which made it hard for lefties because normally the fire button was positioned for a righty.
So there was 2 areas around there that would stimulate fun then that you could.
What is this you're talking
that
about?
You could press. Just like 2 areas, 2 buttons that you could, like it would stimulate. You press them in a special way. And then something would happen.
I know what you're getting at. You're getting at like, it's a G-spot. It's a clear.
What do you mean?
I know what you're saying.
What?
I know what you're getting at.
I'm trying to contribute. I feel like I'm left out in this section. Like I'm just trying to contribute. Is that right? I'm just asking questions.
Contributed enough. But that's my little look back at my memory of Commodore 64 joysticks.
Good.
And I hope it's been as enjoyable for everyone listening as it has been for me.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. And I mean, we get to look forward to another episode of When I'm 64 or whatever it's called next week.
It's going to be hot.
Will you still do and will you still dee-da? Commodore 64.
End of the podcast. All done.
Is that it?
All done, mate. What do you mean is that it? We've been on for like over an hour and a half here. Is that it? Shocking.
I don't want it to end.
No. Well, I thought that bloody Commodore 64 section was never going to end. But just felt that way. Ole. But anyway, so it's another podcast over and done with. We are trying to keep it as regular as possible. So hopefully we'll be back again next week. Every Friday, hopefully. That's what we're aiming for. Just so you can pencil that down in your diaries. And then when the Friday comes around and the podcast isn't out, then you can be disappointed and unsubscribe. But we'll try and keep it as consistent as possible. Don't forget to follow us at Cundy and Nathan Show on Twitter to post in your questions. Don't forget to have a look at thepodbean.com. Again, just search for the Cundy and Nathan Show to see where the podcasts are there. And we do actually write in, we've got like a comment section and things in there, so if you ever want to leave us a message there, then please do. And please, if you do value at all our podcast, do contribute whatever you can on the Patreon part of Podbean. If not, we will still be here next week, but if you do, then we will love you forever, and Cundy can buy some pasties. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. End of the podcast, and thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, it's the Cundy and Nathan Show.